Everything's gone. There. Okay. I don't like the way everything stutters when I hit go live. That's weird. It looks like it's there. Okay. Hello.
Is this a normal thing?
Um, it's this is backseat nonsense, but for some reason, whenever like I change scenes on OBS, it just like it causes like this like stutter where for like maybe a second everything like crashes and disappears, but then it
Yeah.
comes back, so I guess it's fine. People usually let me know if something's missing for a long time, but actually, let me make sure I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Hey, this is flawless execution. Okay, it is us. It is we. There's multiples today, actually, as it turns out. It is me, Grayson, and with me as sometimes is Zyga,
Hello.
still holding me hostage in this room.
I think it's the opposite.
You're the one that's armed, but that's a discussion for another day.
I
So
mean, what are you talking about? This is a Nerf gun. No, with the super soakers. It's one of
super,
those super soakers.
yeah, yeah. Those come with silencers now. That's pretty cool. All right. But yeah, I think we're live with our the super special Issei pod. This that one someday there'll be a way cooler effect than me just clicking the unhide button. You uh, sorry, I just saw your texting in chat like a cheater. But I saw Pearl stop by, say hi. Lal is here. Uh, Batoon is here. Super grumpy apparently, and just loving Twitch. Lala hears voices. That's always good. Smo's here. Tempera is in chat. That's always special. Always grateful to have Tempera in chat.
Yeah, he has such great opinions.
Yeah, really, just my favorite person. No, just no. I definitely don't don't get super riled up every time they say anything.
Again, it's the opposite. I'm the one that gets riled up when you say anything.
Oh, I look. My opinions so good, well thought out. Even I have multiple bullet points for each one to support my arguments.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
really, just A plus material. If this were like an English class,
yeah.
feel
Nope.
like feel like Katoon is not on my side with this, but it's fine.
See, Katoon knows.
Is it Katoon or
Katoon,
Katoon?
Katoon,
Katoon? I don't.
Katoon.
We have this conversation every time I think, and I apologize to. Also,
You just have bad
technically,
memory.
Hatun. And actually, this occurs to me because I think because wouldn't Hatun be the title and then Kester is the name? Have we been calling you by? Wait, no, it's probably not. I need to worry about this.
How dare you call someone by their first name? Like you're supposed to call someone by their last name.
Right, I don't know.
Because
Like
this is anime. Because this is anime.
that's true. It's last name basis. Should I be adding suffixes to people when I call them out in chat? Should I be using like san and kun and sensei as
No,
appropriate?
please don't.
Can I start adding a desu on the end of everything as
No,
well?
no, please have mercy. Have mercy.
Oh, why not desu?
Yeah. Have
Any,
mercy on me.
but anyway, so how are you doing? Uh, Zyga Sensei.
I'm doing well.
That's good.
Just hanging out. Uh week's been pretty slow going. Nothing
Okay.
really too crazy going on, at least on my end. Like um just been like raiding my raid group now raids 3 times a week. So I'm doing UCOB 3 times a week, which is a lot of fun. It's like it's the most fun I have every week.
Nice, nice.
And yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And then I'm watching some anime. I
I
rewatched
can't
all of
believe it.
Kaguya.
All of it? Like, is it 3
Yeah,
seasons?
yeah, Kaguya is 3 seasons,
I
and I
should
rewatched it all.
I should finish watching that show.
Oh, it's so
Or
good.
catch up, I guess, because it probably still more to come. But
Yeah, I watched all that, and then I just like read a bunch of manga.
nice, nice.
Um, some of the highlights of what I read. Like this one, I watched.
Mm-hmm.
My words are gone. My words are gone
Yeah.
today.
Should have wrote them down.
Um, a few a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
I read this manga called Oshinoko. Have you ever heard of it?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Um, there's going to be an anime of it coming like next a month, and it's
Okay.
written by the same guy who wrote Kaguya.
Oh, okay. This makes more intriguing. The
Yes.
Love is War.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh, this guy wrote Love is War, and then he is writing this story called Oshinoko, but he's not like drawing it. He's like another person's drawing it, so he's just taking care of the story.
Hmm.
And it's so good. Like it's like it's gonna be like one of those like animes I think this next season, that's going to be like the number one talked about anime.
Okay. Is it another kind of like rom com or is it like a very different genre?
No, it's a very different genre.
Hmm.
And its premise is very weird. Okay, I'm going to tell you the premise.
Sure, hit
It's
me.
about this like um super idol girl,
Okay.
and then there's this one guy who is this like he's a gynecologist, and he's like a big fan of this idol.
Hmm.
And then suddenly one day she like shows up at his hospital,
Naturally.
pregnant.
Okay.
And then at one point he dies, and then he is reborn as his idol's baby. It sounds very weird. I I
Okay.
know I know you're like going like, what?
I'm here. I'm following your words. I'm trying to follow the part where is like a really good concept. sounds sounds very silly.
The cool thing about it is that it really shows like what uh like the show business side of the world is like, to a like very like high degree.
Hmm.
Like everything is like super realistic, of like what's it like being a manga artist, what's it like being a playwright, what's it like dealing with being canceled,
Hmm. Hmm.
what's it
Hmm.
like being on a set and working on a reality TV show. Like it goes like super deep into these like um different scenarios, and it's fascinating, and
Hmm.
it's extremely dark as well.
Okay.
And it's great. It's phenomenal. Like even though the premise sounds like it sounds really weird and sounds really dumb,
Sure. Sure.
but like once you like read like the first chapter of it, or the first episode when it comes out next month,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be like an hour long episode apparently,
Ooh. Okay.
you'll like see like how good it is. because
Uh-huh.
I was blown away. I was blown away by, and the manga's not even over yet, and it's just like this like thriller slash like deep dive. It's so cool, so cool.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's like one of the manga series that I've been watching, reading.
Okay.
Then there was this like one other one that I want to quickly note on. It's
Sure,
called
sure.
like Dan or something like that. Da da Dan.
Dan dan dan.
Yeah, I read it this morning,
Hmm.
and um, it's just about this like boy and this girl who are this like nerdy kid and then this like popular girl, and they get like um they like share a connection with like liking occult and the supernatural or something like that, and then
Okay.
it's like stuff starts happening around them, and it's really funny and really cool. The Chainsaw Man author like recommended it to
Hmm.
everyone, so
Oh, interesting.
I decided to read it, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, that was me this week.
Okay. Fair.
What about you? I know you've been like streaming a lot, so
Yeah, I super definitely have been watching anime. Don't worry. Um, no, I've actually I watched I've been watching a little bit of shows and reading a little bit. I'm trying to get back into it more since we're doing the podcast. I feel like I should be actually consuming content if we're going to be doing a show about this stuff. Um, I think last episode I talked about how I was watching an isekai.
Sloppy.
Thanks, indeed. Um, okay, is that isekai farming anime like reborn into another world to live my perfect farming life or something like I don't know. The names of the shows never matter. It's all just nonsense long title sentence. But I'm caught up with that one now, up to like episode 11 I think, and that one's actually been pretty. It's like been surprisingly good. Like as a like when you kind of like accept like the goofiness of the how the heck is he forming this entire village and it's somehow only women like kind of thing that it's doing. Like, it's not really a harem, but it's kind of being that way. I don't know. But like
okay.
the characters are funny. The premise is really interesting because it really is like very just heavily focused on farming, which is cool and different. Um, I watched another anime from last season. I was also it's like I somehow became overpowered by leveling up my farming skills, which there's some similarities, but that one's been pretty fun. I just like chill chill animes. I guess I gravitate. Although the overpowered farmer one is a bit of a clickbait because there's very little farming in that one. Like he becomes OP in episode one, and then he hasn't been able to do any farming since then because people keep making him do other stuff.
Hmm.
And the whole thing is like he's like, I just want to be a farmer though. But
You really do like those Yashike, like type of isekais.
right, I mean, I guess
Those like those chill ones.
yeah, I like laid back shows. I don't really go for like super heavy like shows these days. Like I still there's some I'll watch, but I don't know. I just I like having a chill time with my anime. I guess
Yeah,
Isekai non Birinanka. Okay, yeah, yeah. Thank you, AC. That's the one. I have not read the manga. I imagine the manga is probably similar, but yes, I've been watching those, and then I've been rereading probably my favorite manga of all time, at least at the moment. My wife has no emotion,
my
which
wife is.
is probably the greatest romance slash maybe horror manga that's ever existed. I don't know. Um,
I think I remember. I was looking at this.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's so good. Like, let me see if I can pull up a. I love this manga. I think I've given it a 10 so far. I read volume 3 the other day, and volume 4 just barely came. I want to read that one next, but it's I guess I should have been pulling things. Oh wait, I don't have the. Why am I forgot because we have can share with the class things. Yeah, there we go. It's really I should have been having this up for a while now. Oops. But no, so I've been reading this one, and it's so good. um, because basically the concept is it's like decently into the future, but not like super future. Where basically like household robots have become kind of commonplace, and this guy buys like a secondhand robot to like do like cooking and cleaning and stuff, and then the robot kind of starts doing weird stuff. Like it starts like doing these things like he's not telling it to do, and like it
Yeah,
slowly evolves into like this like thing of like he kind of thinks his robot is like maybe sentient or like has like become like aware enough to be like expressing feelings towards him or something. Like it's like there's like really like I don't know because at the core of it is like you have to decide if there's actually something happening or if the guy's crazy or if there's like something else. Like it's very interesting. It's just like this like relationship that's like building between him and this robot, and it's like kind of funny. It's kind of like body horror sometimes. 'Cause, like I something I really love is they really fully committed to the robot as a robot. To where like 'cause I know sometimes like and it's like remember like Chobits or anything where like the robots or androids are always like super cute or whatever. And, like they basically just like look like humans. Like they really lean into like the robot as a robot, which is
hmm,
just it's like fascinating and like weird. Um and I don't know, and that's it's just like it's like a very because I think I remember the author because I always like to read up the things like from authors, and the authors like basically like the point of the like they wanted to write like a love story that had never been written before, basically like a very
hmm,
like unique kind of romance. That's kind of like I've never really read anything else like it. It's just like very strange but fascinating. I'm always super excited to see what's going to happen next.
yeah. Huh? I'm like skimming through like the first chapter right now, and I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just different, and the I guess the robot Mina is kind of like one of my favorite characters now. Like just because it's like it's such a I don't know it's so rare for because like this isn't like necessarily a unique idea in terms of like the human falls in love with robot or something kind of thing. Because there's been other ones that have done that,
Yeah.
but I feel like Mina is the most realistically created like I don't know, like as far as like how an AI would behave if AI ever happened. Like it feels like this is like what it would kind of be.
Hmm.
Because like part of like the because like the reason I saw like my wife has no emotion is because with Mina she literally like her face is just like hard metal, like the mouth doesn't actually move or anything, and so she literally has no way to express emotion. Like her voice is like flat, like just like not very expressive. Her face has no expressions, and so it's like it's I don't know, it's just very I don't know, it's different. It's cool, but so I don't know. That's what I've been reading, and I enjoy it.
Cool. So this is like so this was the main theme that you were that you've been watching or
Yes,
reading.
I've been rereading it over the weekend, and I'll probably because I think Volume 4 just barely came out. Like maybe just barely came out like this month. So I want to grab it and read that one too because it's pretty good.
Well, I'm
Yes,
I'm proud of you. You've been watching a lot more.
yeah. I'm trying really hard to watch a bit more and have more things on my watch list. I'm trying to get to, and I'm hoping for like next season I'll actually be able to like be watching at least a couple of shows as they're coming out every week.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I guess probably our next episode will be like a season recap, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Maybe we could even do like a season seasonal preview.
Oh yeah, like episode one, like
Yeah.
first impressions kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, no. I meant like maybe like pull up the chart.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's a thing again.
Yeah. Since when we have like a visual thing, we can like pull up visuals, the
Right.
actual chart.
Yeah, because I think what is it? Was it Anime News Network that does like they do like a a top 10 or top 20 or something chart that they update every week. Or
Uh oh, you're talking about that chart. I was talking about like this the anime chart, the one
oh, live chart.
live chart.
Oh, okay. That's right. Let me see if I can. Don't. This is a secret to everybody. Oh, how do I spell? Nobody look. This thing.
Yeah. Live chart, yeah.
Yeah, I forget this is a thing that you can do now. It always defaults to stupid Romaji. Who can read Romaji, really? But yeah,
You,
we could
you do.
maybe talk about some of these maybe towards the end of today or something. Just kind of like maybe the ones we're looking forward to or something, or
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
if we have time. We can always save it for
Good.
next time too. But alas. Should we actually get into today's topic of discussion?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Excellent. What is that? Wait, I remembered. Wait, hold on.
You're the,
I looked at the stream title. I remembered. Wait,
you're the one that made the thumbnail, which
this
I'm still mad about.
this sweet YouTube thumbnail
And
that's not clickbait.
you made that only because I like ranted on Discord the other day.
Yeah, you had a real serious like emotional reaction to certain anime recently.
I had like a mental breakdown that day
Yeah.
because of that.
I mean, I guess yeah, I guess as a general overview, yeah, we definitely get into your tantrum you threw if you'd like. Um, but sorry. Yeah. So today's topic, we want to talk about anime versus manga versus light novel. Which medium is superior? We're going to answer that once and for all, and then there'll be no more arguments on the internet ever again. We'll achieve world peace. Uh, Zyga, you first.
That's like a loaded question. You just like threw like the most loaded question of loaded questions at me.
Yeah, go on. You got this.
do, do do I?
Yeah.
Well, first first you gotta like lay some ground rules or like
Sure.
groundwork.
Sure.
Like when we say like which one's better, like they're all like I think they're all great in some way or another. And it really just depends on the show, on the show or the medium.
Sure.
Because sometimes they could be good, sometimes they could be bad. Sometimes they could be pure terror to watch unfold,
Right.
and like very great to read.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Like the show in the the Angel Next Door.
Yeah. Oh,
um,
what show is this? I've never heard of it.
oh, don't, please. See, if they like listen to the podcast from like 2 times ago, they would know that I really like the Angel Next Door spoils me rotten.
Yeah.
Like I love it so much, and
Yeah.
then like I hate the anime. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it
Yeah.
because like it's just like it's one of those ones that's like really they didn't care. They like you could tell the animators didn't care. You could tell the director didn't care, and it's sad to watch.
Man, 7.92, highly regarded, I would say, as far as an anime adaptation.
Is
I,
it?
yeah, it's probably excellent even.
I've been in the forums on there like
When everyone says mixed feelings,
roasting.
that's probably iffy.
I've been like roasting in the forums. Like, this thing. I'm even thinking of writing a review to post on my anime list.
Yeah, so grumpled.
Oh yeah, it all happened because like they like cut like one of the best scenes. Like there was this
Mm-hmm.
really awesome scene that they were building towards, and it was like it's going to happen, and then it didn't, and they like cut it, and that had it like had a full spread, had a full spread in the light novel, but you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, the light novels for that are fantastic. It's
Okay. Or it is
um
more highly rated as a light novel,
yeah,
so.
and like the reason why the light novel is better is because um in it's really hard to portray it in the anime form, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
they probably did not put a lot of budget into it, because a lot of it is just them sitting in the apartment, in the main character's apartment, just like talking. And a lot of the novels is just takes place inside of the main character's head. So he's doing like these internal monologuing. He's like trying to like sort out his feelings the entire time. Whereas in the anime, you cannot tell that at all.
Hmm.
You cannot understand like what's going through the main character's mind,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and so it feels very detached.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
really great light novel series, and it just doesn't translate well to books. I feel like there's I mean the opposite.
Okay.
It's a very good light novel that does not translate well into anime.
Sure, sure.
So I feel like there are a bunch of anime that have been like that, but a lot of people just don't know about it. Like, do
Sure.
you have any examples of like ones that were kind of like that for you? Because I know you've been reading a lot of light novels.
Uh, sure. I mean, I can say, like, I can think of a couple even off the top of my head. Um, the one that comes most immediately to mind, as far as like a good source material but a bad adaptation, would be the slow life of a cheat pharmacist, which I think I've mentioned this in previous episodes because her name was Mina too in that actually, but Muki Muki Mina, who is one of my waifus, but
Oh yeah. I remember you
um,
talking about this.
yeah, that anime adaptation was super garbagey. Um, because it's originally a light novel series that's really good, very funny, and then there was a manga that's also quite good, and then like the anime they just like kind of dropped the ball. They tried really hard to make because like they tried really hard to make like the anime almost like a not like a kid show, but they try to make it like like this like very wholesome kind of innocent show, and not the light novel is like super like etchy or dark or anything, but they cut out a lot of like the funny. They cut out some of the funniest characters because they're kind of, I don't know, maybe they didn't like want to mess with it. Like one of the running gags in the light novel series is that there's this elf that like super has the hots for the main character,
Yeah.
but since the elf is a guy, like they just kind of cut that out of the anime. Like you don't. I think he makes like a cameo appearance where like he does like a winky face to the main character.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like in the light novel, like it's like he's like really aggressively trying to like romance him like more than any of the other like characters in the series. And it's so funny because like he's like such a great character, but like he's like basically not in the anime at all. And then there's a whole bunch of other things they change that just don't translate well. Like a lot of Reiji's like internal dialogue about how fed up he is with like certain people and how much he doesn't like other people. Like all his like really sassy, snarky stuff isn't in the anime
Yeah.
either. So
Hmm.
that's one example where it's like they just like really good source material. They just kind of drop the ball. They're like super lazy with it.
Yeah, that's kind of like the exact same feeling that I had with uh The Angel Next Door, because like the source material was so good and like fantastic, but like somewhere down the line they just dropped the ball. And
Yeah,
it was disappointing, but um that's why I like I tell people I'm like, if you want to like watch the Angel Next Door anime, I would just tab out and listen to it like an audiobook.
yeah,
Or like read the light novel and then and then like what was it, read the light novel and then just like have like the anime as a highlight reel, because that's basically what it is. It's a highlight reel.
right. Yeah, and like some like episodic things that's not terrible, but if it's like a an ongoing like developing like especially like a romantic stories like you can't just hit the highlights. That's kind of
Yeah. And so I'm trying to think with other light novels. um I could tell like a like one of a like a good example of an adaptation for a light novel, because
sure,
there's
sure,
many of those. Well, we have the Monogatari series. That's one that we talked about a bunch on occasion. That is a really good anime adaptation.
right. And that's one that could be argued that like I think originally people were like, how could they possibly adapt this one? Like it'd be impossible. Like there's way too much dialogue and
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much dialogue and there's so much just like um I don't know, like text, I would guess. I'd say.
right,
It's because like Nishi Ocean, he like does so many puns and it's so hard to kind of like translate those puns because it's
right,
all like kanji based and stuff like that.
right. Yeah, so it's like just kind of. I mean, what studio was this? That I can't believe I forgot off the top of my head.
Shaft.
Shaft. Yeah, that's right. Shaft is just Shaft just tends to do a pretty good job with
Yeah.
the series they're given. Um, so, I mean, that's definitely an example of one that I mean is a great source and a great adaptation for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, I can concur with that one.
Another one that like kind of like pops into my head is a Spice and Wolf.
Oops. Hey, there it is.
Spice and Wolf.
Yeah, this is what I really want to read the light novels on this one because the anime quite good. I also want to read the sequel stuff that's come out.
Yeah. Spice and Wolf also has like a really good like adaptation compared to the light novel. Even though the light novel is much more detailed, the anime is very close to it
Mm-hmm.
and really does it justice.
Sure.
Have you read more of Spice and Wolf? I don't think I think you've read more than me.
I haven't read any of Spice and Wolf honestly. I bought the whole series when it was like at a really good price on Bookwalker. So I
Yeah,
have like every single book along with like however many volumes of Wolf and Parchment there were at the time as well.
yeah. I really want to read Wolf and Parchment,
I mean, I've
and
only heard good things about it, so I can.
I'm so surprised that Spice and Wolf has not gotten a third season or anything like that
Right, I would.
because it seems really popular.
Right, I'm almost curious if there's some kind of like backroom shenanigans with that, like maybe in terms of like between the studio and the author. I wonder if something happened because like everything I know about like, 'cause, like this, it's not like it was like it's not like the show was like just like moderately successful or something. Like, it was a huge hit, like huge enough that they wasn't like I swear there was like a VR game released like a couple years ago, like Spice and Wolf
Yeah,
VR.
yeah, that was the most recent thing. It was like a VR game.
It's like it was popular enough for like something like that, which that also was like a pretty big deal when it came out. And like every
Yeah,
time they have like a new figure release, like even this series is like from 15 years ago, 2007. Like it can
yeah, and they're still
still
making
like
figures.
the figure they still make figures. They still like those figures sell out quick. Like even when they are stupid expensive. Like
Yeah, so it
it's
really just confuses me on why there isn't another anime.
yeah,
It's really confusing.
there's gotta be something with like in the like either the negotiations of like how they want to like split the revenue on it, or like maybe the author is like for whatever reason, like maybe he wasn't or she wasn't. Wait, I can't remember. The author wasn't pleased with like how the anime was, and that happens sometimes.
Yeah,
I just wonder if there's like something like that going on because it is kind of baffling.
yeah.
But
That brings me back to talking about that Oshinoko show because they like
yeah,
actually go into that because like there was this one part in that manga
hmm,
where um this this manga was had this like amazing manga that was like selling off the shelves. They had an anime and everything, and the um what was it? Uh oh my gosh, my brain today is like so slow.
mm-hmm.
But they were trying to make a play of her manga, and she like um came by and then was like kind of like looked at like the script and stuff like that, and then like said no, you can't do this, and they like had to stop. They couldn't do they couldn't use the script at all, and it's amazing like how much like authority the manga author had over the entire property. If they said no, it was a no.
Right,
And if they said they had to rewrite it, they have to rewrite it, or else like they like lose all the rights.
mm,
Um, so I thought that was really interesting. And maybe because I think the guy was talking from experience because maybe he was like that with Kaguya,
right.
since he wrote Kaguya and then went through like the anime adaptation of that, and as well as I think there was a live action thing of Kaguya
I
as
think there
well.
was, yeah.
So um it was going into like how like the mangaka saw like it as like their work. And then there was this other mangaka that had their work like tarnished because of like a bad drama adaptation.
Mm,
And she was like going on about like how like she didn't want to become that mangaka, or it didn't want her work to become like that.
mm-hmm.
So that was really interesting to me. That's really
Right.
interesting to me. So maybe that has a play, because maybe the author was not like, maybe they like got an offer, but they felt like maybe season 1 and 2 were enough.
Right. I mean, it.
So
Yeah, and there's so many things. Cause like, I mean, that's interesting. I think um the other thing is like the level of control is not always that fair towards the creator. But
yeah,
so I feel like in this case of Spice Wolf, if I had to guess, is like it was a successful light novel series and probably a manga at that point when they approached for the doing the anime, and they were probably, I mean, as you'd expect, they were probably offered a pretty decent royalty for the right to the property and stuff. And I mean, it's it's possible that like everything worked really well for that the first and second season, but like maybe the studio's like planning to like change teams, or maybe they were trying to like pressure for like more control, like in exchange for like money, or they were trying to like maybe like not make
yeah,
a good enough offer for like what was clearly like a very strong property at that point. Like I mean, there could be
yeah.
any number of things. And that it could
It
be
could all
nothing. It could be none of that. But
Yeah, it could also be like maybe the mangaka or the author was just like 1 and 2 seasons is enough. I want people to actually read it.
right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of like if you want to go into like a whole other thing, like the concept of like the genre called what I like to call like the read the manga animes, where
Yeah,
like the whole purpose of the adaptation is specifically to push the viewer to go on to read all the rest of the volumes that aren't adapted. Like it's specifically to drive sales of the manga by intentionally
yeah,
releasing an unfinished thing. That was very much like a '90s and early 2000s thing that would happen. Where like they would make adaptations with no intention of ever finishing the anime. Just the
yeah.
worst.
I
Um,
remember a bunch of those where I was like, "Oh, I really want this to become an anime, and or really want this to have a second season," because it like dropped off, and then suddenly it was like gone forever.
yeah.
Like for example, like the original Fruits Basket was kind of like that, but we
Oh,
did get a remake
absolutely.
later on.
I mean, yeah, they finally did get around to it, but like that was absolutely like a read the manga anime originally.
Yeah. And I don't remember if the original anime like had like an original ending. Like
Right.
part of me think it maybe did,
It's
but I don't know.
possible. Like some like that's the other thing is like especially like it seemed like at least like with like the rom coms and stuff like they would have like some kind of like pseudo final episode to wrap
Yeah.
it up, kind of like that was the thing that would happen a lot. Yeah, it was totally a thing where they would do that. Like I think of I mean this one had adaptation problems all over the place, but Negima
Oh yeah, Nekima
from our old friend uh whose name I really should remember because I actually do like his work. Okada, no, wait,
and Akamatsu.
Kanakamatsu. I can't remember his name for the save my life. That man is cursed to never have a good anime adaptation. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Love Hina is like classic, but it's really not a stunning anime, especially compared to the source material. They really borked it, especially when they tried to do like because they tried to do like the sequel series Love Hina again, which was just a disaster piece. Um, but then like with Negima, because I mean that's a hell of a long manga series. I think it has like 50 volumes or something insane.
Yeah.
Um, but the original anime adaptation, they did an anime original ending. Like the final arc of that like 26 episode run was just like anime original just to kind of wrap up the show as in that format, and it was rushed and garbagey. And
Hmm.
so, but it was super popular, which is why the very next year, um, was it Shaft or no Studio Trigger? Wait, no, wait. Whoever did like the bad version you watched, but they did Monogatari. No, no, wait,
Shaft.
was it Shaft? Who
Yeah, it was
did?
Shaft.
Okay, maybe I. Yeah, some. Anyway, whoever did the second Negima series, which was supposed to be like the apology for the first one, and for some reason their version of apologizing was like, we'll like be even less faithful to the source material. Like we'll basically keep the names of characters and that's it. Like that is the only thing that sequel series has in common. Like none of the characters are the same. Like hardly any of the like basically none of the lore is the same. It's just a absolute disaster of an adaptation in terms of being authentic to the original. But
Yeah, like another anime that I think about is Skip Beat.
Skip Beat.
That yeah, that's a shoujo manga.
I feel like I've heard of this
A
one.
pretty popular one. I remember watching it. It was really good. Where like it's just I think about this girl who like is dating this one guy, then he betrays her somehow. I don't remember, and um and like cheats on her maybe or something like that, and then she like vows revenge and decides to like get back at him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about that story.
Okay.
And the anime was really good. It's just like at the last episode it like dropped off,
Hmm.
and it was basically saying, yeah, go read the manga now.
Yep. Super cool.
Yeah, it's not fun, not fun at all.
Yeah, it's
That's why I've always wished that Skip Beat would actually get like a really good like remake, because I think that would be really good, really cool.
right. I mean, that's one I've never watched. But like, I hear about Skip Beat. Like, I see it on lists all the time. It's like it
Yeah,
probably is a quality property. But
and apparently it's still being published. It came out in 2002, and it's still being published.
really,
Yeah,
huh?
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a heck of a run for a manga. It's like no
But
joke.
so bringing it back to like different anime adaptations,
Mm-hmm.
I can give an extremely hot take right here.
Sure.
Well, it's not really a hot take. Like everyone kind of knows it, but
Okay.
One Piece has like one of the worst adaptations
Oh, I don't.
in 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 anime.
Oh, you may not want to say that in front of present company.
I don't know. Some people in the chat maybe might think I'm like crazy to say that, but honestly, the One Piece anime adaptation is so bad.
So
It's
bad.
so bad. It's one of those that's like go read the manga. You'll have a better time reading the manga.
But it's got an 8.69, Zyga.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's just because it's so long.
I'm only on episode 230. There's so much more.
There's like a
I
thousand episode.
can't. I'll never make it.
Yeah, the good thing about it is yeah, voice acting is really good, and like sometimes the fights look really cool, but as a whole, One Piece anime like it dropped off like halfway, like not even halfway through, maybe maybe like 1/4 of the way through.
I feel like
It like
where I
dropped
am
off.
is where it started dropping off in terms of like not like super bad, but like I can tell they've started stretching things out and adding stuff. Like
Yeah,
freaking Long Long Island or Ling Long Long Ling, whatever nonsense it was.
yeah. The thing about One Piece is because it's so popular, they can't stop it.
Yeah.
Like it's such a moneymaker that Toei Animation is like, well, we have to keep on making episodes every week. We have to, and we can't catch up to the manga. So
Right.
what are we gonna do? And so that's when they said, all right, we're gonna just do like maybe like one page a episode. We'll take one of the pages, we'll stuff it full of flashbacks, and then maybe put in like a couple like little filler things that probably would have happened around that time
Right.
to like some side character.
What if Zoro just
And
gets lost for even longer? Like,
yeah,
just stuff like that.
but the One Piece manga is so fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And I had this
um,
ready for you, Lala. Go
yeah, like
subscribe for $2.99 a month. I know I'll do it eventually. Sorry, I had this. I knew this would come eventually. During the episodes, like I better just have this up.
yeah, yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
not sponsored.
Shonen
Shonen
Jump.
Jump does not care about us, but can read One Piece for $3 a month. It's a very good deal. I'll do that eventually.
But Ichiro Oda is such a good author. He like is very very meticulous about his like lore and stuff like that. He has planned this like One Piece story from the very beginning. And every week now it's been like a pleasure to like watch it unfold since they're at the final arc or whatever,
Right, supposedly.
supposedly. But yeah, that's another example of like the of like how like the manga is better in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like of course the anime has its moments where it's really good, but like I said, like other people have said in chat, it's just like halfway through or so it just dropped off because of the pacing. So
Right.
it's unfortunate, and I'm hoping one day maybe they like go back and like uh redo the One Piece anime, like maybe when in like 20 years or something like that.
Give it the Kai treatment or something.
Yeah, I think it will happen at one point, but
I mean, it's too popular to ever end. Like even once the manga ends, I'm sure they'll try to keep doing
oh
stuff
yeah,
with it.
definitely. It's
Like
it's gonna be milked forever.
I mean, 'cause like I don't think Toei's even made it subtle like this in terms of like putting all your eggs in one basket. Like Toei has put one egg in their basket, and it is One Piece. Like they kind of do other stuff, but they really really lean on One Piece as their crutch. Like,
Yeah,
like this is
it amazes me how like popular One Piece is in Japan and stuff.
oh well, pirates are the coolest in Japan.
Like I remember going like to I think it was in a mall in Yokohama. I think yeah, maybe it was Yokohama. It was either in Yokohama or it was in Fukuoka. No, 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 no,
Hmm?
no. It was in Osaka. It was in Osaka.
Sure,
It's in
sure.
Osaka in Dotonbori, and I
Mm-hmm.
went inside one of the malls there, one of the
Mm-hmm.
thousands of malls there. Went up the escalators, and then I get off one of the escalators, and I look to my left, and there's this big statue of Shanks.
Yeah.
And it's just like this like one piece store, and it's like there's so many people in there, and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. And like there's like kids and like adults like taking pictures uh with the Shanks statue.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And I was like, wow, this is like insane.
But yeah, I mean that reminds me because I think when I was in Okinawa, and I don't know if it just happened to be like something that's happening while I was there, if it's like something that goes on all the time, but like there's like Okinawa themed like One Piece stuff there, like
Hmm.
like the what is it on Kokusaidori, which is like their like big shopping street near where I lived. Um, just like all of the shops were like but not all of them. But like a lot of the shops were like painted over with like One Piece characters like dressed up in like Okinawa outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
And you could like a lot of, like the souvenir stores had like just like One Piece characters like dressed up as like different like Okinawa things. Like Chopper is like extra popular down there, I guess, because there was tons more Chopper than anything else. Like it was wild. Like, see, I mean the Japan got One Piece ski. That was terrible, Nihongo, but they like
That
One
was
Piece.
terrible, Nyong'o. What were you even trying to say?
I don't know.
Nihon wa One Piece ga suki desu? Is that what you got daisuki desu? Is that what you're
Mm,
trying to say?
da yo ne.
Da yo ne.
Yeah,
Okay.
but look, we can't all be N1 by the end of the year the way I was, but yeah, One Piece is a pretty okay series. I think we can all agree.
Yeah. But anyway, um, yeah, One Piece, fantastic. Manga is better,
Yep.
of course.
Subscribe to Shonen Jump today. $3 a month. You can also
But
read such classics as My Hero Academia, Boruto, Bleach.
we haven't really talked about though the whenever the anime is better than the source material.
Oh, sure. Does that
I think
happen?
that I think that whenever that happens, it's very rare. And I think the biggest thing of this of that example would
Mm-hmm,
be
mm-hmm.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's the only time when I would say that the anime is better than the manga.
Really?
Not that the manga is bad. It's just um the anime is so well done that it just like is slightly better
Mm-hmm.
than the manga. So I've read both. I've watched and then I've read the manga, and they're both are fantastic.
Okay.
But there's just something about the anime that's just like fantastic, instant classic.
Sure, sure.
So
I still need to finish this one apparently. Oh yeah, yeah, I got 40 episodes left to watch on that one. We'll get
yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, like everything about that adaptation is great. Like I know the original adaptation like had its problems.
Right.
Uh, it was kind of like the our conversation before about like go read the manga. It was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that, the original series, but it had like its own like anime original ending because they had to like milk it, and it was still like being published at the time.
Right.
And Full Metal Alchemist was like reaching this like huge high peak of everyone was watching and
Right.
everyone wanted to talk about it.
They had that sweet
And
movie sequel that everyone loved,
yeah, oh yeah, the movie sequel.
The Conqueror of
I
Shambhala.
I actually really want to rewatch the original series
I
just
I
just
liked
to
it.
like get a fresh perspective on it
Sure.
because like I want to like remind myself if it was as bad as I remembered or if it was actually pretty decent.
I mean, so this is the series I finished on accident because I didn't realize that there was a difference in the two shows. It's
Yeah.
like this is the one when people were recommending Full Metal Alchemist to me originally. This was the one I went to watch because I thought Brotherhood was like a sequel series. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I watched this whole one. And I enjoyed my time with it. Like it gets really wackadoodle towards the end, but not like I don't know, yes, I still enjoyed it.
I think the thing in the movie, the kind of like parallels to our world and stuff like that. I thought that was a cool like uh I remember at the time I thought it was like a cool what do you call it? premise and interesting concept.
Mm,
So I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll go back and rewatch it.
right. I mean, it's still not definitely not a bad one by any means,
Yeah.
but
And I guess you could also say, like, for a different example, or
mm-hmm.
bringing this back once again, is Bakemonogatari. I would
Oh,
say that maybe Bakemonogatari is better than the light novels, just because we're not Japanese.
I mean,
If we like knew Japanese, I would maybe say that the light novels were better.
mm,
But just because like we have the English translation of the light novels and the English translation can like sometimes be lost, we can get lost in translation. So I
mm.
would say obviously the anime is better.
I mean,
I don't know. What do you
that's so.
think?
I mean, I can definitely get that because I would say, I mean, at least like in the sense of like, I don't know if I'd want to read the English translations of the light novels, basically for that reason. Like, I would want to get good enough at Japanese to be able to read the original version, because I mean the yeah, because at least like with the anime, like you can like hear the Japanese with it, and so you can kind of follow along with some of the jokes at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a full translation of just the English would be. I mean, I'm sure it would still be good, but like that really would lose like a significant portion of what makes
Yeah,
the series so good.
I currently have I think I bought the first novel, the Bakemonogatari novel. I
Hmm.
haven't like read it at all yet, but I'm kind of afraid to.
Right. I mean, it's probably. I mean, I don't know. It's like there's definitely been like there's been some light novels I've read where I can just tell there's like this is probably so much better in Japanese because like you can just like you can almost like tell like what the Nihongo would have been for certain things.
Yeah.
And as an aside, in terms of like light novel translations, um, I've never seen anybody properly translate the Kansai Ben. Like every time they
Yeah,
try to put that into English, like it looks super stupid. Like
yeah. They try to make it like uh Texan or something like that,
yeah, they either
or
like yeah,
Southern
like
accent.
kind of like a southern accent or kind of like podunk, kind of like which doesn't really
Yeah,
work. I mean, just in this is going to become a whole other rant. The other thing that becomes really irritating is like is a lot of series will have like running jokes regarding like formality between certain characters and stuff, and that's also something that doesn't really translate in English because I mean there is formal English and casual English, but it's not so widely distinct the way it is in Japanese. And so every
yeah,
time they try to like translate that kind of stuff over into English, like it just doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. Because I don't know. Like there are certain translation decisions where like I just think it'd probably just be better just to ignore it rather than try to bring it over in English.
yeah.
But
Though, like, fan translations are, I think, even worse sometimes.
oh yeah.
Uh, I was reading the fan translation of uh, Angel Next Door for a
Mm-hmm.
while, and I was like, man, these people do not know how to how to write. They can translate it, but they don't know how to like write a novel. So
Oh, that would be.
there's like spelling mistakes out the wazoo, and
Oh
then
yeah.
there's like formatting mistakes, and I'm just sitting there going like, this is cancer to read, but I can't stop reading because I need to know what happens.
This is all I've got. Go,
This is all I got.
I actually I know exactly how that feels. There's a thing that I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but there's a thing I've subscribed to. It's a publisher that translates light novels into English, and when you subscribe to it, they'll give you access to all of like the first draft translations, so you can like kind of preview volumes before they ever come out in English officially, which is really cool because I can read stuff like way ahead of when everybody else gets to read the same volumes and stuff. And like in theory, it's cool anyway because a lot of times those rough drafts are pretty rough. Um, and
Yeah.
so I'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, I gotta read. I can't wait for Volume 4 to come out good. So I'll just read the bad version of this, I guess, just so I can
Oh
know.
man.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what is that? It's
Oh, that's
called.
those are rough.
Oh, I can't remember what this is called now. I, oops. No, whatever. It's a it's some. There's like a certain publisher that does it,
Yeah.
but anyway. Because I got their thing because there's a light novel series I really called The Unwanted Undead Adventure, and there's only like 13 volumes out at the time that I was reading it, but they had like the other like 4 volumes you could like read through the website by subscribing. So I did that. But anyway, um, so yeah, that's a whole other topic is the nature of how things are translated. Because that's definitely a rant
Yeah.
I could have. 'Cause there's so many
Yeah.
things that are not well done, but
Yeah. I suppose that me and you have like or see it more often because we have both been engrossed in the Japanese language for a long time. So like uh when things happen and you're like listening to it in or like reading it, you're like, this obviously isn't like what they meant.
right,
And I feel like it's sometimes like that when I'm watching subbed anime as well. Like
right, every now and
sometimes they
then.
would put a translation that sounds really that
But
is obviously like modernizing what they're saying, and you're like that's not what they're saying at all.
right.
So
I mean, and that's where it really comes down to. Where it's like, I mean, and it's one of those things where like, I mean, this is this. I don't know like a better way to say this, but Japanese it is a different language. Like, I mean, it
yeah,
just like in the very literal sense of like, and this is like just like across the board with like all languages. Um, it's very hard. Like you can because like no two languages are like really like one to one for word meanings. Like like I don't know, every language has like their how they have ways for expressing things, but it's never 100% the same. And so you can get things where it's like the word is you get the word in two languages where it's like these words are roughly the same thing. But that doesn't necessarily mean they have like the same like emotional translation or like the same like I don't know baggage that some words have. Like
yeah,
you're like you can like say like one word that automatically has like seven like other things that kind of like come up in your mind with that one word, and like that's in Japanese as well. And then the translator will have like the bias of however the context in which they learn the word, which is probably close enough, but maybe is not like it's like it's like 90% of the meaning, but not like it's not 100% like and just there's so many times where
yeah,
you just like I don't know. It's yeah,
yeah. It's so hard sometimes because just the way how Japanese is translated, it's it requires a lot of thinking and a lot of like um westernizing, I should say,
right,
because there's a lot of words in Japanese that like don't have direct translation.
right,
Like the onomatopoeia words, for example. Like, how do you really translate those?
right? And I mean, my like, I always kind of go back to like, my stance is like, if there isn't an English equivalent, you don't try. Like, I don't know. It's like, because this is something that if you want to go to like onomatopoeia, Dragon Quest as a series has a problem with this because all of the spell names are onomatopoeia, but they're also like puns of that onomatopoeia.
Hmm.
But like they sound really cool in Japanese. But then the English translation becomes words like sizz, fizz, pop. Like, because that's technically what the sound is. The like, the Japanese word is like the onomatopoeia they're using. But like
Yeah,
that's really not the same emotional feeling because you're like, these spells sound really dumb in English. Like they don't have that cool kind of like punny cleverness they have in Japanese. Like I don't care
yeah,
how powerful crackle is. I don't feel like that's going to be the world-ending spell that the boss is going to use to annihilate me. Like I like it's like,
yeah, yeah.
but
It's hard. It's hard to find that balance between like making a good translation and like trying to modernize it in order to um, connect with an audience. I feel like that's one thing that like came to my mind just now was when I tried playing Final Fantasy VII Remake.
mm-hmm.
Um, I know everyone's gonna say you should have been playing it and dubbed, but I was like, no, no.
But the dub is so good.
I listen to Japanese,
Ah,
so I started
what a
playing it
weeb.
with.
No.
So it only took me 5 minutes, 5 minutes before I had to switch back to the dub
Yeah.
because they they put the Japanese voices in there, and they're like, oh yeah, you could do it Japanese with English sub, but we're not going to give you the Japanese subtitles. We're going to give you the English subtitles.
Oh,
So
that's the worst.
you're basically like I'm listening to it and I'm hearing it in Japanese, but I'm like reading it and that's not what they're saying. And like it
Oh,
happens like every single line of dialogue. And I'm like,
yeah.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah,
And
you
I feel like that's like a thing that happens too much in video games sometimes.
oh, for sure. Well, like if you want like I think the finest example of that exact kind of crap in Hyper Dimension Neptunia, which those are it's a dumpster fire of a series, I admit, but I like them. Um but the point being like cuz you can have the game in English or Japanese and then the same thing with like the text, you can have it English or Japanese. But if you try to do like the Japanese voices with the English text and you act like I mean like even if you don't know Japanese, you can probably tell something's wrong because the person will speak in Japanese for about a paragraph, but you will only get like 3 words of English in the text box. And
Yeah.
that's when you realize how horrendously lazy they were with the translation of Hyperdimension Neptunia. Where like
Yeah.
the English version of that game is like because I mean the humor of those games is really all they have going for them because they're grindy as hell. They're just grindy JRPGs. But they're so funny. But the English is so lazy. Like it's unbelievable. But yes,
Yeah.
that's a whole other.
It's a
Yeah,
whole nother can of worms. But it's just like, yeah, translations and stuff like that just become I think they just like only care about the dubbed in video games. That they're just like, oh, fans want the Japanese voices, so we'll just add them in.
right,
We don't need to make an official translation for it. We'll just throw them in, you know.
right. And it's like I guess it's better than nothing,
Yeah.
but
When
it's
I when I when I replayed a though there's sometimes when it's like close enough
Mm.
Like when I played Persona 5, I replayed Persona 5 about like in December. I think it was in December when it
Mm.
came out on PC. And I originally played it on my first time 2 years ago in dubbed. And then
Mm.
I played it this time in subbed. And I thought the subbed was pretty close, even though there were a couple times whenever there was voices that you could obviously tell that this was the English translation that I'm currently reading, but it was close enough.
Right.
So,
And actually, that like as I guess a tangential complaint. I want to target this one. Netflix is the most guilty of this. Um, but where they have the problem of the subtitles will be for the Japanese track, but if you're watching like the English dub with subtitles, completely different dialogues because the subtitles are
yeah.
for the Japanese track and not for the English track. And that's what actually will drive me because I like. I mean, I'm lazy. I prefer watching a dub if there's one available because I don't want to necessarily have to be physically watching every part of the anime as it's going. Um, but I like to have subtitles on just as a way to like help like better internalize dialogue and stuff. I like just having subtitles on. But if they don't match, it physically pains me.
Yeah, it physically pains me too.
But
Here's a little like side tangent.
mm,
Have you ever heard of a dubbed anime being that has like changed the material of the anime that it's being dubbed for
like
so much to a point where it's like completely different than the sub version
oh
from the
for
Japanese version?
oh absolutely. Like I mean that's Ghost Stories, right? That's like the most infamous example of that.
Those stories. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Oh well, I mean I'll try. I'll make this quick. I feel like I've talked about this with you before, maybe. But just to be really quick, basically, Ghost Stories was a very mediocre anime in Japan. It was like a very straightforward kind of like paranormal mystery show. And then when they brought it over to to America to be translated here, they basically the company that was like licensed to do it in English was kind of given free reign to do almost whatever they wanted. They had to keep the names of the characters and they had to keep the way the ghosts were captured the same, but everything else
Yeah.
they were allowed to translate however they wanted. And so Ghost Stories kind of infamously became the very first like abridged style anime series where like the characters acted very differently, the motivations and storylines were like very different. It was like rewritten to be like basically like a really crude comedy. It's like
Yeah.
very funny, but it's like it's night and day. Like listening to the sub versus the dub.
Yeah, the one that comes to my mind is Sergeant Frog.
I
I don't know
think
if you've ever heard of that one.
I've heard of this one actually. I've never
Ker-
watched it, but
it's called like Keroro Gunso or something like that.
okay.
And like the English version of no, the Japanese version is more like aimed for kids. It's supposed to be like this cutie show,
Mm-hmm.
but the dubbed like um made it more of a kind of show that you would kind of see like on Cartoon Network. It had like they pumped it full of like uh Western references to like different like TV shows and stuff like that. They made it more like they changed the material to make it more viewable in the US or
Hmm.
overseas,
Okay, sure.
pumping it full of those pop culture references and stuff like that, even though when those pop culture references wouldn't even be in the original show.
All right, it's like zero chance. Like that was the original like script. Yeah, I mean, and that's definitely a thing. Like, because we can go like like that's like another Yeah, it's probably like most like in the late '90s, early 2000s, because that's when you could start talking like I think somebody even mentioned in chat like Four Kids, like basically all of the Four Kids dubs were like that, where they really tried hard to westernize it as much as they could.
Yeah.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh maybe being the most like the strongest example of that, with how they would edit out any depictions of violence. They would try to make it like they tried really hard to push the idea that like the show is taking place in America despite all of the very not American things they were constantly like on screen.
Like
Like
and then there's like the four kids version of One Piece.
yeah,
Like, gotta go.
yeah.
Dreaming.
Don't give it up,
Okay.
Luffy, dreaming.
Dreaming.
Don't give it up, Zolo, dreaming. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up. Anyway, it's a, it's a banger song actually. I still have that on my playlist anyway. But but no, yeah. So like Four Kids is a great example. As a tangent, like I've never even watched Sailor Moon, but I'm aware of how much they changed Sailor Moon in the dub. Particularly the two sailors who in Japanese are like actually like in a romantic relationship. And in the English dub, they make it so that they're cousins, which
Hmm.
just really kind of made it more awkward in some ways because it's like, oh, you know, they're always hugging and kissing each other because they're cousins. It's just like, what? No, what is that? But so, I mean, that's one I can think of. But like, there's plenty of that, and of course, everyone loves in Pokemon Ash and his donut. They get stolen
Oh
by a
yeah, that
Mankey. That's like classic.
yeah, that's another example of when the well, I tried listening a lot. Well, I think I have somewhere on my computer the original Pokemon series without the dub.
Yeah,
And um but there's no subtitles out for it at all. I don't think it's ever been subtitled.
I feel like it's that can't be true, can it? I mean,
I
maybe
think I think it is.
that'd be wild. Like,
I
how are you supposed to follow the adventures of Satoshi and Kasumi? Like,
because like I really wanted to like check out the Japanese with English subs of Pokemon, but I could
frying pan
never
is a
find it.
frying pan. I mean, sorry, there's friggin' Pokemon, and see, in Pokemon is one where like, and as much as I love to, as easy it is to rag on Four Kids, like I don't know if I would like. I'd be kind of curious to hear Pokemon in Japanese. I don't know if I'd really want to watch it that way. Like I just because I grew up on the ridiculous version that we had in America, and I kind of love it for like as terrible as the voice acting is. Like I still kind of love it. Like I don't know, it's one of those things,
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those hate to love shows.
right?
Like you hate the dub for being cringe, but it's like it's something you grew up on,
Right?
and you can't
Yeah,
really like fault it for that.
yeah, and yeah, there is definitely a strong thing for that. Was like you kind of a lot of times like the your first experience with something is like your best impression of it, kind of like because I have that problem with Full Metal Alchemist, to be honest, which is probably why I've
Really,
never finished Brotherhood. Is like because I watched the original one and I went through and I was watching the new version, and I could it's like objectively I can tell how it is an improvement of like the story and everything, but it's just like I couldn't quite get into it the same way I got into the original one. But
I think that would be because FMA Brotherhood kind of has a fast start.
yeah, I mean
You
it's
can't.
definitely trying to burn through the story quick.
Yeah, it's trying to burn through the entire uh first series, like the first 50 episodes of the original series. It's like trying to like burn through all of that because they're like, oh, this has already been adapted. Everyone knows this, so we're just kind of like gonna like speed through it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not until like you get to like past episode 13 and stuff that's when it starts to like dif- differentiate from the
right.
original series.
Which is, I mean, that's really going to end up being like a long term weakness, I think, of Brotherhood overall is that because it was made so soon after the original, where like they had that assumption, like, well, everybody's already seen Full Metal, like
Yeah.
we'll just kind of speed run the first half of it because now
Oh yeah.
people go to it and like, and everyone's recommended Brotherhood as like being the superior version. But like, I bet a lot of people get turned off by how fast the show feels like it's moving. It's
Yeah.
like it'd be like it's like crazy quick. Like if you don't have like if you hadn't watched the original, you're like you don't have time to get you know attached to hardly anything that's happening. It's just like it's just, but that's a whole other.
I think you
Uh,
need to finish it.
I mean, I probably do. I just Full Metal Alchemist is gonna be the show I have to be in the mood for because that's one that's not that it's like a super dark show, but like it's a fairly serious one that requires you to actually be paying attention because every episode is full of story that's important,
Yeah.
and I have to be in, I guess, in the mood for paying attention.
Yeah, you just love your relaxing shows where you just sit back and chill.
I can just take a power nap while I'm listening to happy anime times. But
Yeah.
I yeah, I'll definitely I have to finish Full Metal about like Brotherhood eventually, just because it's it's one of those shows you gotta. Right?
I know someone mentioned in chat like a while back they were like about Attack on Titan. Well, hate to break it to you, but I don't think I've only seen season one, and I think Grayson here has only seen season one as well, right?
Yeah, I got partway into season two and I gave up. I've never read the manga to be fair. I mean, it looks very well drawn because I've seen images of it. It looks really well drawn, I can say. And I mean, the anime, I
Yeah,
I mean,
for me, like I haven't. I watched. I was basically the same as you. I watched season one, and then I watched one episode of season two, and was like, nope.
yeah, that's about where I was because I don't know because like and for me like I watched I originally watched I was never gonna watch Attack on Titan originally because like I'm really not a big fan of like super violent stuff. Like
Yeah,
that's kind of a turn off for me. Um, but actually, like my cousin recommended it to me, and he was like somebody's like he never even like watches anime, but he was like, "Oh, this is like a really good one though. You got to try it." And it's like I trusted him. I was like, "Oh, I guess I got to at least give it a shot because it is super popular." Like,
yeah,
and so I watched and I this was back during like my I think this is probably the first show I like ever legitimately dropped because I don't know like before this one was like I kind of like I would just like finish a show no matter how bad it was or how much I didn't like it. Like it was just like it never occurred to me like I could just like stop like partway through. Like
yeah.
I was just like I was like so not enjoying Attack on Titan that I really just I don't know. It's like it.
For for me right now, I kind of feel the same way. When I was watching season one, I was I was very not into it. Like, there were some things that I just didn't really enjoy about Attack on Titan.
Mm,
Like Aaron, I did not like Aaron as a character. I thought that um after a certain point in season one that they should have just switched to Mikasa as the main character. But then they brought him back, and I was like, I don't really like this guy.
right.
And so that kind of turned me off. And then there wasn't really any other characters that kind of like um, brought my attention. So I decided to just drop it. And then like season two, like the first episode, like had this that like weird giant giant what is it, monkey thing that was talking, and I was like,
uh,
bro, this is too weird. This is too weird.
yeah,
And I also thought it relied too much on those like shock faces, you know?
right. Well, that's a lot of like what I felt like the story was like. It like it relied so heavily on shock value,
Yeah.
which I mean definitely can. It's a good way to grab attention for sure. I mean,
Though
yeah,
though like I will say this. I will watch it one day.
mm,
I'm waiting for it to be over.
fair.
Once it's over, I will watch it because I have no patience for waiting for cliffhangers.
Right, and they really do like. There's like pretty lengthy waits between seasons. It seems like.
Yeah. And I personally like want to give it a shot
Mm,
because I gave Sword Art Online a shot.
yeah, and it ended up being an 11 out of 10 for you. I remember.
No, no. I don't think the chat knows this, but like I did originally um watch Sword Art Online when it came out. The first series. Watched it
Mm,
when it came out.
right.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it so much. And then when the VTuber craze happened. This was like a while ago. And one of the VTubers I liked was like, I really like Sword Art Online. It's like my favorite. And then I was like, guess I'm gonna rewatch it. Guess I'm gonna give it a objective thought. So I went into it. I was like, I'm gonna watch every single Sword Art Online thing that's out right now. I'm gonna watch every single thing. I'm gonna watch if it's out there in anime form. I'm watching it.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
so I went down the rabbit hole. I was like, okay, this is bad. This is really bad. And then it got to like the season where this VTuber was like, oh my gosh, this is the best season. This is the best season. And then I was like, this is the worst season I've ever seen. and and yeah, that was that was that was like my like deep dive into Sword Art Online, and I'm going to do the same thing for Attack on Titan. I'm just waiting for it to be done.
And that's fair. I respect your willingness to give it a chance anyway.
Yeah,
I clearly like. Actually, this isn't. I don't know if I'm gonna bother mentioning it. Like, I think I did watch like the first 3 episodes of Sword Art Online. I got that far into the show to know it wasn't for me, but
yeah,
like, and I've started. I'm I'm trying to practice self care, where I don't watch things that make me miserable. So,
but
like,
that's like the best part.
I mean, and there's a fine line. 'Cause, like, I do like me like a good
No,
sad
I
anime.
understand.
Like, it's like Violet Evergarden made me ugly cry a lot.
Oh, did you see the recent movie of that?
I
The
haven't
final
yet actually.
movie.
I really want to watch it actually.
It's
It's
like
on my list.
it's like the conclusion. Oh my gosh, that was rough.
Like
That that was rough.
that's an example of a show like because that's a show that's like not. Cause I guess that's the difference would be like 'cause that's like a sad show. Like I guess in Sword Art Online it was more like a show where like I wasn't miserable in the sense of like I was sad. I was just miserable like I don't like these characters. I don't know if I care enough about what the story is. Like I mean, because for me like the biggest determinant for like if I'm gonna watch a show is if I like the characters.
Yeah,
Like there has to be like at least a good handful of characters like I like I like their personality or like I like their motivations. I want to see where things go with them, kind of a thing.
yeah.
And so like that's probably a big part of like why Attack on Titan kind of turned me off because like the cast changes so frequently, and the cast that does stick around are characters I just really don't care about. like Mikasa's probably the most interesting character, but even her was like, I don't like it. That's really where it was like, I don't care about anybody that's here, and I don't care if everyone dies. So I'm just gonna just call it quits. But
Yeah. Anyway, that was a long tangent.
yeah, oops.
We like went on what a weird tangent there.
Yeah, that wasn't even the tangent we had planned for once we were done talking about anime versus manga. This is really what
Yeah.
time it is, Jesus.
Oh my gosh, it is.
But
We've been talking for a while. A
yeah,
100 minutes.
yeah, yeah, just a little behind the curtain here. We had two topics planned tonight, and I thought was like, yeah, we'll go for like maybe an hour, and we'll just kind of, we'll just kind of chat about one until we run out of stuff to say, and then we'll move to the next one. And then it'd be like a nice little kind of a simple time. But
Yeah.
I guess
We just get heated about topics.
I guess so. Like really had and eventually I don't know. I guess we kind of said a lot about got a lot of that stuff about sub versus dub out of my system, but
Yeah, we kind of hit on sub versus dub a little bit.
a little bit.
Though we haven't really like super talked about it.
Right. I think that's what it could definitely be more hammered on, like get some more concrete examples, but I don't know. Zyga, I guess just to wrap this up, final verdict. Is manga better than anime? Or where
It depends on it
you
depends on the circumstances.
you're
That's the my opinion hasn't changed. It depends on the circumstances.
oh, gotta take a hard divisive stance right now. Half the
Well,
people
I
in
get
chat need to be angry at you before this is over, or you haven't
well,
done your
I can
job.
obviously say that Angel Next Door, the light novel, is better.
Right, but the anime's best. We can agree.
No, no, I shall not stand for this stuff. I won't be mocked.
Holy hell, 3 million people have watched Sword Art Online on this website.
Oh,
Almost.
and 3 million people have like rated it wrong.
Like that's actually the funny thing. Like it's only like 3,000 in terms of like the pop like the score. Popularity is super high because I mean, egads number of people that watched it.
SAO, dude. It was like it could have been so good. But like, why did they have to make the main character just so lifeless? Why did they have to like
Yeah,
make him like a messiah
yeah,
where everyone wants him and he's like perfect, 100% perfect all the time.
yeah.
It's just, it's
It's
just
great.
fine.
And it is kind of funny because like,
Look, and this might okay.
hmm,
Slight spoilers for Alicization.
short,
It's like
careful.
War of the Underworld, Alicization. It's like even when the main character was in a coma, they still loved him. They still like talked about him all the time. And the moment where I was sitting there going like, is this real life? Is this real life?
Yeah, is
Was
this
when
just fantasy?
yes,
You had a Freddie Mercury moment, but that's okay.
it was a Freddie Mercury moment. I was sitting there watching this, and like Kirito is in a coma, and all the girls that he's been with are around him, going like, "How much do I love Kirito? I love him so much. Oh, I love him because of this. Oh, I love him because of that." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm watching the wrong
Like,
anime.
get me out of here.
Get me
I
out.
gotta go.
Give me out. I want to get out of here." And that
But
was like the moment I tuned out, and then I
yeah,
like watched it all on the side while I was playing Final Fantasy.
yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, spoiler over.
Yeah. I also the one good thing I kind of sorted out online is this. I mean, this wasn't the first isekai, but this is absolutely the isekai that like launched 1,000 isekais.
Oh yeah, it did.
Like It's like
the progenitor.
yeah, this is the one that really got that train cooking for us,
Yep.
and it gave us such wonderful timeless classics as Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist, or that my other favorite light novel series, Reborn as a Vending Machine in Another World. But
Isn't that getting an anime?
I hope it is. It deserves it. But there's so many stupid isekai now. Anything you can
Well,
think of has been isekai.
let's well, what is your final opinion? Anime versus manga versus light novel.
Um, I will say I typically I I believe the superior version is like almost always the one that is closest to the creator, if that makes sense. Like, so I would
What
say
is that?
that almost always like the manga in that sense would be better. Like, I mean, there's sometimes like an anime original usually will have the, I don't know, because like whatever version is like purest of like the original artist's like intention, I think tends to be the best version of it.
Yeah.
Because like the more fingers they get into the soup, the, the the dirtier your soup is, I guess, would be the more literal. Like, and it's like with too many cooks spoil the broth, I guess is the actual. So anyway, like um,
Yeah.
there's fingers and pies. I'm getting my metaphors mixed up. But no, I always want to experience the story the way the author intended. Like, even if that's like ends up being like the, because sometimes like they do get, it gets more refined as it goes. But I still love seeing the version that was like the original, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my stance, which is probably why I read a lot of light novels and have no life. But
It's a rabbit hole to fall into once you get into it. I've like just like stepped into it myself.
yeah, it's
Like
is
I've done anime for years, and it's only until this year that I've started reading manga and dipping my toes into light novels.
mm-hmm,
And ever since I started, it's like very hard not to stop.
right. I mean, and it really kind of becomes a thing where like I guess what happens for me is like I use anime as a way to test a series. Like I'll watch the first couple episodes of an anime, and then I'll go read the manga or the light novel instead, and then maybe I'll go back to the anime afterwards. Because like
Yeah.
that's kind of like been what I do a lot of lately. Is like, but um, yeah. So I guess that'd be our final stances, and
Yeah.
thus we come to the end. And just because Exodus has been so diligent in reminding us that the show exists, I've never heard of it. That's my opinion on it, unfortunately.
Yeah, he like posted a synopsis of it in Discord, and I was reading it.
I
It's
mean,
interesting.
I feel like I actually this is this is probably a slight,
Controversial.
this is a bit of a peek into the the problems with my brain. I'm pretty sure I own a couple of the light novels because I have a problem. I haven't read them yet. I just I if I see it's like, oh, 50% off, I'm like, well, I gotta buy it now. I'll be saving money in the long run because I have an addiction to Bookwalker. And I
So
but wait,
so Exodus, is this like, is the anime a pass then? Is it just like read the light novel? That's what I'd like to know. Because I see there's 2 seasons of it on
right.
Crunchyroll.
I'm actually curious to see what the light novel's ranked at. I mean, it's got a mid rank, but I don't trust my anime list. The people who vote on my anime list have crap opinions generally. It's
Yeah,
slightly more highly regarded. That's
my
actually
anime
not bad.
list. Yeah, my anime list has some like weird opinions on things.
I mean, just the fact that people can vote and like submit scores having watched only like one episode is kind of nonsense. But that's a whole other comment. Like, oh, Law is a leap of faither. Hatun, if you're looking for more light novels to read, I can recommend you so many bad things to waste your time on. But that could be a discussion in the Discord. um, but yeah, I think we'll. That says manga is better. That's fair. I mean, this
It's a
is
good
J Novel Club. That's what it's called. That's the thing I'm subscribed to. They let you
J
read things ahead of time if you subscribe to their thing.
J Novel Club. Is
Yeah,
that a Bookwalker thing?
it's well they're partnered with Bookwalker, but J Novel Club is a semi-independent like translator publisher. Like it's
Is it a
basically
publisher of Shosetsu no Inaro, or is
uh
it not?
well they do publishing of Japanese light novels.
Oh,
They do translations basically. Like, there's like a translation group, but they get the official licenses for everything they do.
oh,
And they have a tendency to pick up stuff that's like kind of niche, like or at least like initially is kind of niche. Like I don't know if they have like any super huge properties in their catalog. They've got a really good. They've got a lot of good stuff. They have it's like they're the ones that have like Campfire Cooking in Another World. They have Arifureta. They have the Unwanted Undead Adventurer, which I love to death. Um, they've got a whole bunch of good stuff over there. And if you're part of their club, you get to read stuff ahead of time, and it makes you feel cool and special.
hmm.
But that's also not a sponsor. That's just something that I also. They also like the thing that really is a problem is that like every month they'll pick like 4 or 5 random series, and they'll just give you free access to the whole series, like the actual published versions of the series even.
Really?
And so like they'll have a random series like here's 18 volumes of this series, and you can just read it for free this month just to see if you like it.
Oh,
And so it's a really cool way for like I want to say it's like less than it's like $5 or $6 a month. It's not too bad. And you just get tons of light novels and manga you can read. Not tons. Like it's nothing like Shonen Jump, but it's cool. Anyway, that's an aside. Let me see if actually now that I remember what it's called. Oops. Hey, apparently Tear Moon Empire is a thing right now. I guess probably part of what I really like is they tend to focus on fantasy and isekai series, which tends to be the
of
stuff I like
course.
the most.
Since yeah, that's what you want.
Got Dragon Daddy Diaries, very important.
Okay, J Novel Club.
Like, but no, it's a cool place. Anyway, I like it. Oh, here's the
The
I don't know why.
apothecary witch turned divorce agent.
Yeah, classic.
What?
Yeah, you can see
What are
like
these
right.
titles?
I don't know. Look, light novels are nonsense. Like you can see like the catch up series they have. Like Magic Knight of the Old Ways is actually pretty good. I like that one. That's a light novel I've been following actively. So that one's
Hmm.
worth. Um, Endo and Kobayashi Live I think is actually getting anime soon. Maybe already had one. White Cat's Revenge is pretty good. Altina the Sword Princess is the big series they have apparently. 15 volumes you can read for free. Well, for $5 or whatever. Anyway, it's cool. Karate Master you get the Isekai. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted now. I'm just looking at the. Sorry, I'm leaving before I start reading stuff. Anyway, look, so we gotta
Yeah, I would
get.
stay away.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here, guys. Um, I got
You
I
could
got
catch up on chat. You could catch up on chat.
I got places to be. I got. But, sorry. I guess and everybody that's been like hanging out today. Thanks for hanging out. I guess haven't we didn't really read too much chat. I think we were. I mean, I was kind of glancing at it as we were going. I didn't had to find a way to include you guys, I guess, in some way that's not too distracting. But so then we get sucked into other tangents. Hatun, definitely trust me. That's super nice of you, Hatun. Uh, Uso Rankin, Bastard, and Katakuri Circus is good. Where did Katakuri Circus? Yeah, thanks, Alala, Exodus, Hatun. I saw Generosity was here earlier. Smo, uh, shout out to Tempura. Jarek stopped by to say that they
Oh
enjoy
wow.
AOT. That sounds like that person
Hello.
has a bad opinion. That should, I'm kidding. I don't want to get Jarek mad at me. Actually, Jarek knows where I live.
I think he should actually like sit down and go watch Demon Slayer and JoJo's like he said he was going to do.
Yeah, maybe we know Jarek a little bit more than some of the other people here, and maybe I'm worried about repercussions for calling Jarek out. Death Nihiler was here for a little bit. Had to leave and say goodnight. Yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. Like these, the podcast has been an interesting experiment. I would say. I think I like having this chance to kind of talk anime. I like it.
Yeah,
Um, the
both been
tune,
around for a long time, and
yeah, it feels like eons sometimes,
yeah,
but no, I just like I anime is it's good stuff. Light novels are good stuff. Like it's things like I was actually thinking about
it
the other day. Is like I I think all of my reading is basically from Japan. Like I'm trying like in the last like 4 years, I think it's almost all light novels. Like
really.
I mean, I've read The Christmas Carol, but that's because I read that every Christmas. That's an aside. I don't think I've read really anything else besides like I don't know.
Well, here's
But
my suggestion to you: read The Angel Next Door.
I probably, I mean, I really probably will. Like
I haven't told everyone to read it because it's like it's my favorite thing right now.
pretty good. It's an okay one.
I just love those anime and those series that make your heart squeeze. The
Sure,
Doki
sure.
Doki.
Yeah,
I've been liking those a lot recently. And those are fun. But I also like, other things too. So
yeah, fair.
Ugh.
Lala, how dare you accuse me of not reading chat? I read chat when just
Oh,
maybe not
speaking
not in the moment. It's
speaking of manga,
mm-hmm.
what was the last Spy Family volume I lent you borrow?
I think it was 5 or 6. It
Wasn't it
was
8?
was it
Are you
8?
sure it wasn't 8?
I mean, it's I guess to keep it as vague as possible, the most recent volume I read was on a cruise ship, but not after.
Did they like almost finish? It ended on a cliffhanger, right?
It was on a cliffhanger, yeah.
I have the next volume. I'll let you
Oh,
borrow it.
can I borrow that, please, Aiga Selma?
Yes, it came in the mail
Oh,
today.
Onagashi kudasai.
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe we can get food and I can give it to you.
That'd be sweet. This is a private talk chat. No one listen. But but anyway,
More Spy Family is good.
Spy Family is a thumbs up of a manga.
Oh, it's
But
two thumbs up. It's not one thumbs up. It's two thumbs up. Spy Family is always
oh, they got Spy Family on the Shonen Jump app.
yes they do.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Zyga, looks like I don't need you anymore.
Why?
Finally, end this charade of a friendship. I don't need you for your Spy Family volumes.
Well, are you going to sub to Shonen Jump or not? I
I,
mean,
I promise I will someday. I have the tab open on my browser now, so I gotta do it. I was actually gonna sign up before this started, but then I was like, oh, you gotta download the app to subscribe. I was like, I can't use the app right now. I got my smartphone's my face camera, so I can't. But
oh
anyway,
yeah, sure. I think this is all just an excuse.
no, I'll super do it. Just
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
watch.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Just you watch. By the end of the year, I'll be subscribed to Shonen Jump. I'll be N1. I'll have watched a
And one
thousand
January,
animes. I'll be caught up with One Piece. I'll make a bunch of other ludicrous promises as they occur to me.
you're gonna finish the MSQ.
Sure, I'll finish the
That's a
MSQ by the end of
that
the
that
year.
that's a tall order. I don't think you're gonna do it.
No, I'll do all of it and more. Just you wait and see.
I mean,
So
you could have been doing Stormblood by now, but you've been leveling Samurai.
yeah, but I gotta be a
You get on that
cool.
Stormblood grind.
I could be a samurai. Kakoi no de.
Kakui no
Yeah, I always.
Kakui no night.
Yeah, that's like my favorite thing. Is I love using a really emotional thing with Node. That always makes me laugh. But anyway, uh,
Yeah, you got to start that MSQ,
I don't know. Lawless Heart.
or it's really gonna be a year before you finish Endwalker.
I don't know. Lawless already a monk. I think Lawless started Puget at the same time I did. Already losing there too. Oh no.
Oh, just think about it. A year from now is gonna be the next expansion. So,
I got time. I'll be
uh,
caught up just in time for that expansion. Just you watch.
patch 6.4 is gonna come out in a couple months.
I'll be done by then even. Just you
Uh
wait.
huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
You just don't even worry about it. But anyhow, we got to get out of here before I hear any more accusations against my character because they hurt my feelings.
Oh, and if some people want, like, I have been occasionally streaming
Oh, that's right.
my UCOB runs with my static.
That's right. Big
No,
streamer.
yeah, I'm not a big no
So
one watches except me. Well,
much
I've been having it on because
such famous.
we have been like needing recordings for like deciphering mechanics.
What's your username, by the way?
I think it's Tempurara.
How do you spell Rara?
Didn't I link it to you?
I think you did. I'm just trying to type it out in chat right now.
I think it's tempura, and then an extra raw.
Ten Huda?
Yeah.
Let me see if that works. Hey, yeah, they
Uh,
were streaming Final Fantasy 14 recently, if you can believe it.
yeah, like I I was just streaming our UCOP runs. So if you want to see what Ultimate looks like, if you want to see
Uh,
terrible Dark Knight gameplay,
I think you meant flawless.
no,
Like we're
I'm transitioning from being a healer to a tank, and it's kind of jarring.
want to see a top 1% player in the universe.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I'm actually gonna be probably put the stream on tomorrow night at around 5 p.m. MST. Because that's when our raid starts. You can hear our raid group. I don't really talk very much
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like in like this extreme focus mode.
Yeah, neat.
But if you're ever interested,
There you go. But yeah, so thanks everybody for uh, hanging out for this, subscribe to Shonen Jump and maybe this channel as well. Yes, for more thrilling podcasts. And I might eventually try to do this, maybe even weekly. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, I guess everybody, thanks for hanging out, and thank you, Zyga,
Yeah,
for
no problem.
being here to give this show
Think
credibility.
someone has to rein you in.
Somebody has to actually watch anime for this to work, so I appreciate you.
One of the I miss the days of Deep Anime Dive. Grayson, who was very ambitious every season.
Oh, 12 plus shows every season. That was a more foolish me, to be sure. But
You.
anyway, we all make
Oh,
mistakes when we're young.
and also like thanks to like Lala and everyone who's been helping me with the sub materials.
Oh yeah, and 14.
Thank you so much. Like I do not have any words for how like thankful I am for all the help. It's it's so hard to remind myself to do uh roulettes because I have everything maxed, so it's really hard for me to like want to sit down and do them. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't need gear, I don't need anything, so it's really hard for me to do it. So I really appreciate all the help. Great. Okay, just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I've been sticking like I've been doing also deep dungeon with my static, and I've just been like dumping all of the extra minions and extra orchestrion rolls that I get from the deep dungeon into the company chest for
Ooh,
people as a thanks for
what a gift.
everything. So
Cool. But
anyway,
yeah, big preach. I don't know what those things are you're doing, but I'm sure they're difficult to do. I should probably raise my rank in the Grand Company so I could actually help with that. Because I have tons of spare seals, but I'm not a high enough rank to buy the things you need. I just gotta anyway.
well, that's fine. Take your time. You don't have to.
I
Like,
no, I'll be a captain by the end of the year.
see, I'd much rather. What would make a smile put on my face, make me smile,
Mm-hmm.
would be for you to start Stormblood.
Oh, you'll be smiling within months then. Don't you worry. But um, I'll do things. Promise. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here before I am made accountable for my actions before a higher power. Uh,
Alrighty.
Tune, no, don't do it. Please have mercy. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This was fun. These are these are fun to do. I hope y'all are enjoying these at least half as much as we are. Because this really is definitely just like a good excuse for me and Zyga just to get angry at each other and talk about anime.
It also happens off stream, so
It's true.
this is basically just how we talk to each other off stream as well.
Yeah. You're just casually playing with a gun while you ask me how I feel about things, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks everybody. We're doing anime tomorrow. We're watching Mob Psycho season 3.
Ooh,
We watched
you're already on Mob Psycho season 3.
yeah, I think we watched episode 1 last time. We watched the OVA, which I guess was an OVA for season 1 to season 2. We mistimed that a little bit. We watched the OVA and then we watched the first episode, I think, of season 1.
How many episodes do you watch per session? Just like 3 or 2 or
3 to 4, just depending. We try
Oh,
to.
that's cool.
So yeah, so it's been pretty good, and I think yeah, then it'll be streaming Saturday, Sunday for Final Fantasies and other things. But VTuber Yuno Ichika says, "Hi, Alan. Nice to meet you. Greetings from Japan. Subscribe." Ah, arigato Yuno. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Very,
Oh,
very
yeah.
nice of you. Seem very. Oh, thanks. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to meet you. We're actually getting close to ending, but Ichika. Ah, okay. Yoroshiku Ichika-san. Uh, thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I guess we'll probably call it here. Hey,
Very well.
yeah. So I keep saying we're gonna end, but then we keep chatting away. That's a problem. But yeah, we're.
It's you. It's all you.
I'm sorry, I don't. I ramble. But yeah, this has been fun. So yeah, we'll. It says your Japanese is very good. Nihongo yeah. Is
Hey, he's lived in Japan for 2 years. He can say
no, I
that.
look. I
Though
忘れて
you're
しまいました。though.
yeah, you've lost more of I don't know if how much you've lost of Japanese since oh okay, but that's a whole other topic. We need to do a Japan episode again.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, we should talk about Japan.
Yeah,
But
it'll be fun.
no, yeah, I have Bankyoed Nihongo. I just the it yeah, it's all
Jumbled.
mushy, but um yeah, thanks for stopping by, Ichika. It was nice to meet you. And thanks to everybody else for coming by. We'll be doing more podcasts and more streams and more things. But I hope y'all have a good night or a good day wherever you are. iTunes says time to rebank, yo. Yeah, I know. I'll be N1 by the end of the year. I promise.
The old argument.
Don't worry.
All right, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you,
It's been
Zyga.
a pleasure.
Okay, well, we're out of here. Bye bye,
Read
everybody.
Oshinoko. Read Oshinoko. Read Oshinoko.
I might. I'm concerned about that one.
Read it. Read it. Read it. Read it. Read
Okay.
Oshinoko.
Okay, bye. uh...